Welcome to Fraud Friday with Lance Sexton, Delaney Sexton. Welcome both. We had almost a record viewing session last week for Chris Roglieri. Good job, Delaney and Lance. Shifting gears for this week, inside the Lion's Den, SBA loan specialist Angela Chu has been found guilty. And Delaney, go ahead, do your reporting.
Well, it's not looking so good. Angela Chu was just found guilty of conspiracy to bribe a public official and commit wire fraud, 3 counts of bribery of a public official, and 6 counts of wire fraud. So we've got 10 counts that she's guilty of in total.
Oh my goodness.
So we actually have reported on this case in August, but at the time the SBA loan specialist was not named. So we have talked about there was a Dejani, Greenberg, and a McIntyre were her co-conspirators. And one of those individuals who she was assisting with these idle applications got about $300,000. And he got a 6.5-year sentence. And we've seen some much smaller sentences for that amount. So I'll be interested to see what her sentence is.
Lance, I was going to say, you work for SBA. First of all, tell me what an SBA loan specialist is and how difficult is it to do this type of fraud?
Well, of course, during the pandemic, there were 2 types of SBA loan specialists. SBA had permanent loan specialists and they had contract loan specialists. So there were certainly 2 different types of professionals doing this. A loan specialist is in the servicing center, Bob and Delaney, where I worked. Each of the departments had loan specialists. They were servicing officers, they were 504 servicing officers, and express servicing officers. In your Herndon Center, they have something similar. In Citrus Heights, they have loan specialists who process loans. And it's the best way to equate it, guys. It's like a assistant vice president or a vice president of a bank.
So this is another, I'm going to raise my hand, teacher moment. Would all SBA loan specialists be public officials?
Technically, they would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much money did she make off this scheme, Delaney?
Now that, I'll give you the context of the total amount. They are citing that she manipulated 6 idle applications by going in and internally accessing them and manipulating some things. That was $800,000 in total, but it looks like she only got maybe $6,000 in Cash App bribes. So, I mean,
Yeah.
in my opinion, crime's not worth it in general, but it's definitely not worth it for a few $1,000s.
Lance, SBA officials, bankers,
Yeah.
they're higher up there on the DOJ target list. These are people of authority. We don't know how much time she's going to do, but whatever it is, it's certainly not worth $6,000 and losing her career over.
Well, I would think that this one probably, the proposed 6-year sentence, she'll get most of that. And part of the reason for it is she was in a position of trust, and
Right,
she used
absolutely.
that position. She used that position of trust to process fraudulent idle loans in the SBA system. It's not like Johnny down the street who's got a gang who's getting PPP loans, and none of them work for SBA or any other federal agency, but particularly SBA, because that position of trust can actually go in and work on the application and cause it to be approved. So I
Lance,
expect.
yeah, I'm sorry for cutting you off. Lance, do me a favor. Give me an idle 101 versus a PPP loan 101. What are the differences? And
Well, the PPP loan program, the loans were processed and funded by participant SBA lenders. And of course, a lot of new lenders came to the plate for PPP, but they were processed, funded by participant SBA lenders. The idle loan program is actually a direct loan program where the borrower submits to SBA. SBA reviews that application, approves it, and SBA actually funds it. So it's a direct lending program.
And the difference, the significant difference is those idle loans have to be paid back.
The idle loans do have to be paid back or not up for forgiveness. They have pretty extended repayment terms. But I think the big thing to note here in the case of a PPP loan, you've got a lending institution that's a buffer, and then you've got the SBA. In this case, the applicant applied directly to the SBA, so that loan specialist could go in and manipulate the application like it says she might have done, and cause it to be approved. So that's where the big problem is, and it's not unlike we've seen a couple of bank officials, not very many, that did get in trouble for manipulating PPP loans, and their sentences tended to be longer. So I expect this one to be.
What's the next step in this case, Delaney?
I believe she will be waiting for sentencing. And as far as I know, I think only one of her co-conspirators has been sentenced, so there could be some other sentences there as well.
Was this a jury trial, or did she plead guilty?
That's a good question. I believe so. I believe, yes, a federal jury found her guilty.
So she went to trial and had her day in court, and it did not go well for her. Well, excellent reporting. We will follow up on what the aftermath of this is. Again, Lance and Delaney, these are sad stories, and it's that I'm going to let you guys finish it up. We talk about these stories every week, and it's sad. It's sad, sad, sad. Go ahead,
Bob. Lance. I'll finish it up. You know, I have a couple of things that I do that are Schedule C items on my tax return. I technically could have applied for a PPP loan myself, but the optics of me applying for a PPP loan, and it would have been perfectly eligible and legitimate, but I chose not to because the optics of me applying for a PPP loan just didn't fit right. And so these SBA officials manipulating applications and getting loans processed, that should never happen.
Thank you for joining us today for Fraud Friday, so you can stop criminals from stealing from your bank.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good one.